Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Easy Cooking with Papa D at the train in Fordsburg. Now today I'm going to do a proper restaurant meal. I'm using a sirloin steak. You could use fillet if you like. I prefer sirloin in that it's a tender cut, but I also like it because it has the fat bend. And what's more is I like my meat medium to well. So I'm using a thick piece of meat. If you should like your meat well done, then I would advise you that you could butterfly this and make it almost half this size so that it'll cook quickly and easily. The nice thing about cooking the meat medium to well is it seals on the outside and yet it remains succulent and juicy on the inside. The ingredients that I'm going to be using on here is mostly just for my sauce, and I'm going to be doing you a mushroom sauce with peppers. So basically it's not just the plain mushroom sauce. I'll have the mushroom sauce with the coarse pepper, white pepper, and then I'll finish it off with red and green peppers on the top. And that I'll be serving, instead of chips, I'll be serving it with a potato rosti, which I'll show you how that's done as well. My ingredients mainly are cream, white pepper, some coarse black pepper, red and green peppers, mushrooms, butter must have, and then this will be the potato I'll use for the potato rosti. I'm using a bit of olive oil as well. And to start off with, I think while we are busy preparing the sauces, I'm going to put my meat on first so that I can have that done almost at the same time that my sauces and the rostis are done. But what we'll do firstly is we'll start off with the meat. I'm going to just, to give it a bit of a shine and a little bit more flavor, I'm just going to pat it on with some olive oil. I'm putting it on the fat as well because I like the fat to be nice and crispy. So I'm just going to put some olive oil on there on both sides. And more so, if you are doing this in a bigger way, then you could add some lemon juice to your olive oil with a bit of aromat, so that will give it a bit of a texture, and then you could actually brush it onto your meat before you grill it. If you use your meat just dry, you'll find that it has a tendency of sticking to the grill. I'm using an open fire here. This is our original old angeti, which I've got my charcoals in. And before I put this on, I think we'll go ahead and do the sauce halfway through. And while I'm doing the potato rostis, I'll then put the meat on because I only want the meat medium to well done. So let's go ahead and start with the mushroom sauce. For the mushroom sauce, I'm going to need butter, which I'm adding on immediately. That's my butter there. Now you could thicken this. If you're doing it on a bigger scale, you'd probably need to add some flour and add milk to increase the volume of your sauce. In that, I'm just making a little bit of it. I don't really need to thicken it because my cream will reduce and thicken as I'm ready. So I've put my butter in. My butter is almost ready. The only thing that I need to cook in here is the mushrooms, which cook very easily. So I'm removing my butter from the heat, and I'm going to prepare my mushrooms. Just thinly, I'm not slicing them too thinly. I want them a bit rough and a bit chunky. So not too fine, nice thick slices. I am using more mushrooms because mushrooms tend to shrink when you're cooking them. So I don't want to overcook them either. My mushrooms are ready. I'm just giving it a very light toss. You'll notice I'm not really cooking them too much. I'm using quite a bit of the coarse black pepper because the coarse pepper is quite visible in the sauce, whereas the flavor really comes from the white pepper. So it's just the white pepper, the black pepper, and the salt. My sauce is almost ready. To finish it off, I'll be adding in the cream. As I've mentioned, if you are doing this on a bigger scale, you need not reduce your cream to thicken it. You can actually use a thickener to give your sauce the texture that you require. I'm just making a small quantity of it, so I'm actually just using the plain cream and butter that actually makes it very rich and decadent. That's ready. I'm not thinning it too much because I will be warming it again before I serve. I'm going to leave that aside and now prepare for my potato rosti. For this here, I'm just going to grate some potato. I'm going to grate the potato, and what I'm doing here is I'm not removing the starch from it when I cook it. So basically, just grate your potato and we'll use it with the starch. You get quite a good yield from it. Out of one potato, you should get quite a few rostis. I'm now going to add some butter to my pan. As soon as the butter melts, that's fine. I'm adding a little bit of olive oil just to stabilize the butter so that it doesn't burn out or caramelize too quickly. In goes the potato. Bismillah. Now to this, I'm not using the coarse pepper here because I don't want it to affect the color. A little bit of salt. And now I can just toss it over a little. You'll notice most of the butter has been absorbed already. I've just folded it over. And now while it's almost formed, I'm going to use an egg ring just to shape it. I'm going to flip them over now. Now you'll notice the rostis also don't take too much time to cook. I'm going to remove it from the heat, and while that's just simmering there, I'm going to put my steak onto the fire. I've already added the olive oil, just a little bit of salt and pepper, a little bit more oil there. rub it on, and there we go. Now while that's happening, I can finish off my potato rosti. I'm going to actually add more butter. My meat is going on quite nicely. My rostis are almost done. Just want to flip them over again. And you see how nice they're crisping and becoming golden. But just check them in the centers, because you need to wait till they cook through. I have reduced my heat because I want them to cook through now. My meat's grilling through quite nicely, and my rostis are almost done. My mushroom sauce is ready. So while that's happening, I'm just going to prepare the diced peppers that are going to go on top of the sauce. I'm going to keep the reds and the greens all together and dice them up finely. I like the fat to be crisped, so I'm going to actually stand it up so that I can get the fat to become crispy as well. My meat is almost done. I'm having it medium to well done. You'll notice how the oil has helped the meat to brown quite nicely on the top. My meat's ready. My rostis are ready, and my pepper for the sauce is ready. I'm just going to warm up my sauce, get my rostis going, and then we can prepare. And we can then, here we are, my rostis are now ready. Warm up the mushroom sauce. You'll notice how the cream has thickened. Everything's just perfect. So now we're going to serve our sirloin steak. As I said, you could use fillet if you like. Sirloin steak with the pepper mushroom sauce, and I'm going to be serving it with potato rostis. Let's see how the meal looks when it's put together. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. That's our sirloin steak with a pepper and mushroom sauce served with potato rostis. I'm going to be serving this meal today with another interesting juice. I'll be using oranges, beetroot, and ginger. You can already see the combination where it's going to. So this machine is so fast, I'm going to put all my ingredients together and then turn the machine on. I'm just chopping it up. As I said, you don't really need to do this because this machine is powerful enough to do this. But I'm just going to add that. I'm adding a little bit of the beetroot. My jug is ready. And I'm going to now start up my machine. As you can see, it is so quick. And now we can have our orange, beetroot, and ginger juice. See the beautiful color? So it's not just the normal orangey color. The beetroot is actually giving it a beautiful melon sort of color. So here we have our orange, beetroot, and ginger juice. And it's a nice creamy juice. So until we meet again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.